Hello, welcome to part 3, and I have to revise the title from Days of Sorrow to Days of My Sorrow. The Lord just impressed that upon me and told me that's what I needed to do. So this will be titled Days of My Sorrow. This is November the 25th, 2022. And chugging right along. Still in Proverbs 3. Going on to verse 3 now. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the tables of thine heart. So shalt thou find favor and good, which means good success, understanding inside of God and man. You know, if we find that good understanding in the sight of God, man will follow, because God will make it to be so. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not to thine own understanding. That is what so many of us want to do, though, isn't it? We want to lean to our understanding of this word even, and to everything that happens to us, and not to God's knowledge and truth of what really is going on. We will let Satan bend us and bow us out of shape, and we will get angry, and we will do things we shouldn't do in our anger. You know, I was saying in that first part, I believe it was, of this Time of Sorrows videos, in part 1, I believe it was, was talking about my anger. How I've been going through some things that have made me angry. And they certainly have. But the Bible teaches us to get angry, but sin not. How do you keep from doing that? By keeping the scriptures and doing what the word says. If someone offends you, go to them and tell them. If you have told them and they won't accept it, then take it before the church. If they won't go to church for you to take it before the church, take it before God himself. Because why? Because we have an advocate with the Father. He is our lawyer. He is our judge. And he will weigh it out and do what is right in his sight. What if we're leaning to our own understanding and it causes us to get angry? What if we are doing wrong and we're leaning to our own selves and not to God? What if our anger is kindled because of stuff the devil tells us rather than what's really going on? That absolutely could be what's happening. We could be under a strong delusion. We should consider all things before we just leash out at people. But so many today want just to make a big name for themselves, and they want to just feel like they're the cat's meow or whatever. And, oh, I told that person off. I gave them a good whooping. Oh, did you? So you broke their heart, maybe? Or maybe you lashed out at them in a time when they were already broken, and so now they want to kill themselves because all they can see now is that there will never be good for them in the world. I've been there lately. I know how that feels. Thanks for adding to the moral decay of this world, because that's exactly what you're doing when you leash out at other people and you purposely seek to hurt them. Thanks for making somebody potentially suicidal. Thanks for being the demon that was in their ear to push them over the edge. Because that's exactly what you are doing. So I don't know what else to do but to thank you for your evil, because you're bringing about God's plan. No, we're not supposed to be evil. We absolutely are not. But many of you know no other way, do you? You will not have no other way. You want to die by the sword, I suppose. You live by it. You think all is for you to do is to be a brawler among man. Go out here smiting this one and that one. There is no love of God in that. Have you ever felt used and abused and just thrown down when you had nothing left? I've been there. I've walked that path with my own family. Sad truth is, I knew when I had nothing to offer them, they would walk away from me. God never made that a secret to me. That's not love. That's usury. And I have no need for that in my life anyway. And if people just want me around because of the things they think I have, they can skip over me. Because it will get them nowhere. Just pass me by. Let me be. Go your way. I have no need of anyone who's seeking after me for such things. Now, anyways, let's get on back into this word. Verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not to thine own understanding. That's what we were just talking about. But I wanted to recap. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. In all thy ways acknowledge the Lord, and he will direct your path. That's what it says there. He will direct thy paths. Thy paths. Meaning more than one path. No matter what you're doing or where you're going. He will always direct you if you acknowledge him. And oh, how I acknowledge him. I couldn't be without him. I don't want to be without him. I don't want to live in this world if I can't be with him and can't be what he wants me to be. I have no purpose. He is my purpose. There would be no need for me to be without the Lord. I don't want to exist without him. I want to serve him. And I want people in my life that want to serve him. I don't care who you are or what you're doing. If you're serving the Lord and following after him, you're going to be keeping this word. I don't care what you have or don't have, as long as you're following the Lord. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord. Absolutely. And depart from evil. This is what we're supposed to be doing. It shall be health to thy navel, which means body. If you depart from evil and do these things, it shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. All these people out here with cancer, you don't need that poison that the witch doctors are putting into you. What you need is to do this. And come to the Lord and let the elders lay hands on you and trust to the Lord. And he will heal you completely. And you will have no need of taking that junk that causes side effects that makes you sicker than what the disease you have makes you. What kind of life is that really adding to you when you're poisoning yourself? And it's making you sicker. Where's the quality of life in that? Love the Lord and live as long as He wants you to, because He promises eternal life. Honor Him and do as He wants you to. Honor the Lord with all thy substance. Exactly. And everything that you do. Everything. You're supposed to do it in the name of the Lord. So if it's something that is shameful or causes reproach on the church or on Jesus Himself, don't be doing it, because that's evil, that's sin, and you shouldn't do it. If it's something you feel like you have to hide to do, and no, there is no excuse saying you're simple-minded. If you're hiding under the cloak of darkness to do something, and you will only do it when there's no witnesses, that shows you have mind enough to know to hide it. Like, certainly if married men are asking women out, and they know enough not to do it in front of witnesses that would rebuke it, that's wisdom enough to know to do good, and they're doing it not. They're hiding it under a cloak of maliciousness. They're hiding under the veil of darkness to do these things. Use your wisdom, people. If they know enough to hide it, to do it, they know not to do it. You can't excuse it by saying they don't have good mind. The Lord has given us all sound mind and a measure of faith. So don't be telling me that they don't have good mind when they're doing wrong. That's excusing a demon and allowing it to continue. I won't do that, and I'm not going to do it anymore. I kept waiting to see who would step up and do what the Lord wanted them to about the situations at hand, but no one is doing it. So the Lord will remove these things Himself. He has been patient with this for some time, as have I for months, no matter how humiliating or hurtful it was to me. I endured it because I loved that person, and I prayed for God to get them out of this sin. But remember, ministers, you wouldn't preach what sin was from the pulpit because you were afraid to. That blood will be required of thy hands if he drops. Remember that. If these people perish under thy watch, without thou telling them the truth of what sin is from the pulpit, their blood will be upon thee. Don't think God will hold you guiltless when He knows you had a chance to speak truth to them. I'm using this as an example because it is something I have certainly been through in my lifetime and recently. So I can speak to it and tell it. Anyways, to finish out this verse here, verse 9. Honor the Lord with all thy substance and with the first fruits of thine increase. Have you ever honored the Lord with your first fruits? I did. I tried my very best to do that. Exactly how He told me to. It was His anyway. It was never mine. Nothing I have is truly mine. It is only lent to me for a time. But I thank the Lord for it. I will see you in part 4.